Thank you for staying with us, everyone. General Christopher Musa has been confirmed as Minister of Defense, and based on his record and public statements, how committed is he to addressing Nigeria's security challenges effectively? And I have on the program tonight Abdullah Idris Zuru, a contemporary affairs analyst. Thank you so much for staying with us, for joining us on the program, Mr. Zuru. Can you hear me now?
I hear you clearly now.
Right. So Nigeria faces multiple security threats. We're talking about insurgency in the northeast, banditry in the northwest, separatist agitations and kidnapping. How equipped is General Musa to address such a complex security environment?
Yeah, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. General Christopher Musa, as far as we are concerned here in KB, particularly our Executive Governor, Dr. Nasiru Idris Arangondu, I'm very sure he is one of the happiest persons in this country with the appointment of Christopher Musa as Minister of Defense. He sees Christopher Musa as somebody that will produce magic. To start with, he praised the focus, the foresight of President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for giving him the direction to choose the right person for the job. Why I said this is Christopher Musa, when he was Chief of Defense Staff, he has given Dr. Nasir Kaurangondu enough support. He has all through giving him the support through advice and suggestions on how to curtail the menace of armed banditry in our state. He did that in his capacity as Chief of Defense Staff. Christopher Musa frequent Kebbi because of his conviction that the governor is committed to protecting the life and the properties of the people of Benin Kebbi being destroyed by armed bandits. Why is this so? Governor Kaura accepted the suggestions given to him by Christopher Musa by providing logistic support. I can say enough logistic support to facilitate the control of armed banditry in the state. And that is why he paid special attention to Kebbi because of the demonstrated commitment of the governor to ending armed banditry in this state. That is why he frequents the state. He requested for logistic support. His Excellency Comrade Nasiru provided 100 Hilux Toyotas and 5,000 motorcycles.
Okay.
His Excellency requested for additional military base around the state, which Christopher Musa provided. In short, he has contributed a lot in ensuring that bandits have no base in Kebbi State. They only come around, troop on transit, do their recently act, and go back to where they are coming from.
Right.
Or they will
so
go
it means you're right. So it means you're very happy with this confirmation.
Yes, very, very happy. Like I said, Comrade Dr. Nasiru is one of the happiest.
All right then. I mean, during his confirmation hearing, he raised several concerns about the state of the armed forces. Which of these concerns should Nigeria view as most urgent? And for context, he highlighted equipment shortages and welfare of troops. How likely is the government to prioritize these issues under his leadership?
You mean the Kebbi State government or the federal government?
I'm talking about General Musa. He raised several concerns about the state of the armed forces. So I'm asking, which of these concerns should Nigerians view as most urgent? I mean, he was talking about equipment shortages and welfare of troops. Also, how likely is the government to prioritize these issues under his leadership?
Exactly, he did. And you might have heard the senators, some of them, advising for additional funding. They are advocating for increase in the allocation of the armed forces in order to make them to provide enough working equipment to be able to take good care of those in the field as a form of motivation to encourage them. He raised fundamental issues, and you must have that most of the senators, almost all those that spoke or that asking questions, they are in tandem. I mean, they are on the same page, requesting for enough funding for the armed forces to encourage them to do the needful. So it's in order, and he's talking from experience. He was a theater commander in the Northeast, and he moved to different places as commandant before he was finally appointed as chief of defense staff that take care of all the armed forces, including the other security agencies in the country.
All right.
So it's his right solution, and he has been supported.
You talked about budget and funding, and with public scrutiny at an all-time high, what measures do you think General Musa can implement to restore trust in the defense ministry? How should he handle transparency in defense spending and procurement, which have been perennial issues?
He has been an insider all along. As a commandant, he knows how they operate, he knows how they distribute, and he knows to some extent how the money is being utilized or otherwise. So with that experience, with that knowledge of utilization of funds, he is in a better position now to bring together his lieutenants to maybe change the pattern of utilization of funds being allocated to the armed forces. He knows where it will work. He knows those that are committed. He knows the areas that need priority, and he knows those that are that has the capacity and the patriotism to implement his plans to end the present security challenges in this country.
And because we're talking about accountability, there are those who have raised the issue, the conversations about the balancing the need for secrecy in certain military operations with the public demand for transparency. But perhaps we'll talk about that some other day. The armed forces have struggled with troop morale, poor welfare, and corruption. How prepared do you think the general is to confront some of these institutional issues he was once part of? Can someone who rose through the same system lead a cleanup, or is there a likelihood that he would be constrained by loyalty networks?
Anyway, shortly before he retired as chief of defense staff, you must have noticed he was going around telling the troops that they should not wait for any order before they confront the bandits. They should protect themselves, protect the communities they are asked to protect, and do the right thing. And warn that anybody found wanting in the discharge of his duty will be court-martialed. And anybody that is found to be doing the right thing, he will be compensated. So like I said, having been in the system for long, having led the armed forces for some time, he knows how they operate. He must know the shortcomings. He must know the loopholes. And now that he's going to be in charge of all armed forces, including the chief of defense staff, he will be able to draw their attention based on experience and how we think they will succeed. His major concern, like I understood him very well, is patriotism, not welfareism, not accumulation of wealth, but how can he assist the president in checkmating this menace that has become so jarring, so unfortunate to Nigerians?
And there are some stakeholders have also talked about the need for politicians to hands off so General Musa can succeed. Is that a concern for you?
Already, if you look at it, even when he was chief of defense staff, he's been careful on how he relates with the politicians. I don't know whether you have noticed that during his time as chief of defense staff, He goes out wherever he is requested or wherever he thinks he needs to go based on reports submitted to him. That is why I told you he frequents Kebbi because of the commitment of the government towards ending this armed banditry. So he is being careful on how he relates, how he relates with the politicians as it affects his role, it affects his assignment as the chief of defense staff. He cannot be partisan. He has to take the interest of Nigerians at heart first. And that is what he has been doing when he was chief of defense staff, to the best of my knowledge, and to those who have been following his activities must confirm that. And now that, like I said, he is overall boss of the armed forces, not chief of defense staff. So from the experience he had, he'll be able to make amends and strategize on how to achieve results.
And I'm still taking a look at some of the other concerns he raised, one of which is the prolonged trials of suspects in Nigeria's criminal justice system, especially those linked to terrorism and violent crimes. How significant is this issue for national security?
That is a Herculean task, but the trust and confidence the president has in him, which made him appointed him as a minister, I think he still has the power to bring together those concerned and to find out what are the factors militating against immediate or smooth prosecution of people arrested, that constitute a threat to the unity and the peace and the security of this country.
Right.
With the support of the president, he can. If the president has truly seen somebody in him that can serve the country, he should also give him the authority to call whoever is involved to order. First of all, let him have a roundtable conference with those responsible for prosecution of those type of people. If it fails, the discussions, the suggestions fail, then he can ask for further additional powers from the president, or request the president to do the needful. Point out to him, these are the people creating problem in the prosecution of those found guilty, those found to be creating conflict, to be creating crisis, to be creating insecurity in the country.
All right, that sounds fair. But we also saw Senator Wadata urging the minister nominee, now confirmed, to be steadfast alongside some word of caution. If you don't deliver in 6 months, the Senate would call for your removal. At the same time, ordinary Nigerians also have these high expectations of him, which, some are worried that this comes with a lot of pressure. What benchmarks should the public use in evaluating his performance after 6 months?
Well, my sister, General Christopher has proven his capacity, and that is why he has been considered for this very sensitive position. What he requires is not deadline. What he requires is not ultimatum. What he requires is prayers and support from all and sundry to pray to God to guide him to succeed. The issue of ultimatum, the issue of does not even arise. Give him time. It doesn't. If you want him to do prayer brigade approach just to impress you, it won't work.
Okay.
Let him strictly execute his own plan based on his conviction that he will produce results. But by the time you stampede him, give him an ultimatum, will his mind be in achieving results or in thinking that he is likely to fail because he has been giving ultimatum? What he requires from Nigerians is prayers. And I'm sure the president has confidence in him, he has trust in him, and he thinks he can deliver by the special grace of God.
All right, then I must appreciate you, Mr. Zuru, for for your insights. I mean, with General Musa now confirmed as Minister of Defense, Nigerians will be watching closely to see how his commitments on security, transparency, and community resilience are put into action. Thank you very much for speaking with us on Politics Tonight. Abdullah Idris Zuru is a contemporary affairs analyst. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful to you.
And thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 12:30 a.m. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News NG. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Good night, everyone.